Hello, hello. I'm Betty, and I'm back with more stories. Thank you for watching me today. Well, today I would like to tell a little bit about my childhood and what I remember about my mother and father. Like we all have memories. Sometimes we get so old and we forget about them. We're thinking about our own problems, all different stories that we are engaging in at the moment. But if you sit back and relax by yourself and you reminisce about the old days when you were young. And when I was young, down in Mobile, Alabama, we had everybody. It was like a small community, and everybody was like related to everybody. You could have old people sitting on a bench, on a rocking chair, on a porch, drinking their lemonade in the hot summer, and they could run down relatives to the first, second, all the way to the 20th cousin. Yeah, Sister Jones was. Oh, she was married to Jack. Girl, oh yeah, girl, they had two children. They weren't even here. Yeah, they drinking that lemonade and talking and just talking and talking, drinking that Coca Cola and BC stand back, getting a little tipsy because women didn't drink back then. They had like bootleg liquor, but usually it's the men that drink that bootleg liquor, not the women. But the women had the Coca Cola and they had that stand back pill that they took that gave them. Yeah, we all know about that. But the women used to cook food, and most of the food was like, say, fish or vegetables from the garden, and maybe remedies from the chicken that the people threw away, like the neck, the gizzard, the back, whatever. Because when you had dinner on Sunday, everybody had chicken. Chicken was a favorite thing. You can go to anybody's house and they was cooking chicken, but they didn't have chicken during the week, just on the weekend. So you had a lot of preachers that would go to your house. Here come the preacher. Don't let him come to my house because when he come, he's going to get the best part of the chicken. So if people say, "Oh, well, he's going to stop," he stop. The South is known as the Bible Belt because most of the churches down there, 95% of the churches are Protestant, and maybe 5% or less is maybe Catholic. But that time they had all these churches. People had churches because it was like a place where you congregate. You went to see your friends. You put on your nice clothes. You saw friends that you hadn't seen in a while, and you talk about it. And the priest was the inspiration. He gave you something to think about. So it was like a gathering place. It was like a church for worship and also for hanging out and meeting your friends. It was just a place to be because church. Where are you gonna go? They didn't have no big dance halls. They didn't have no big movie theaters. They didn't have TVs back then. They didn't have cell phones. God forbid, cell phones or mass communications. Nobody knew what was going on outside their community. So they only knew what everybody else knew, the same old information back and forth. People usually lived, they were born, they lived, and they died in the same house and the same community. And all the news, everybody knew. Everybody knew everybody's business. That's just the way it was. If you went out of town to visit somebody, and when you came back, you were a celebrity because you had experienced something that happened in another neighborhood. It's like, what do you know? What'd you find out? What happened? What'd you do? Oh boy, your head got big because you thought you was somebody because you had something new to say, you know. But people weren't influenced. You could let your children out to play. They weren't afraid somebody's going to kidnap. Who want to kidnap somebody's kid? They got their own kids. But I remember that when people passed away, people cry and they get very upset. Of course, that's natural to do that. But the person doesn't really die because the memory of the person lingers on for the rest of your life. And that's what's keeping the person alive. A lot of time when a person has a job, they want their child to learn that job because they want them to follow in their footsteps. And but when they tell you things like years ago, they used before TV, people used to get together on the front porch and somebody would sit there in a rocking chair and tell you a tale. Well, they made up or not. These comedians think they got something funny. These people really had something funny. They were natural storytellers. But they mean they would just tell you tales, and people would remember. Like I remember my mother told me once when she was cooking, she said, "Now whenever you cooking, Betty, always use 2 parts of garlic and put in your food." And I remember that. And so when I'm starting to cook today, I remember Mama said use 2 parts of garlic. You know, but garlic was also used for worms years ago. People didn't go to too many doctors. They had like a family doctor, or they had like their own remedies They go out in the backwoods or someplace and they would get some kind of leaves and this and that to give you, and you got well. You didn't like today. People going, they're sick forever and ever. They never get well. And you just take the pills and the prescription. They roll it over on and on and up. You never get well. But years ago, people did get well. People did get well. And I know that my father told me once that, Betty, if you want to do something, just go ahead and do it. Never mind what other people think. If you want to do it, you just go ahead and do it. Jump in with your 2 feet and do it, because there's nothing to fear but fear itself. And so I remember that. So a lot of times I have done a lot of shows. I don't have no training in it or anything like that. But it's just something inside of me that tell me which way to go. Like a little something inside that's guiding me. I guess like a guardian angel, whatever. Like, I remember my father say, whenever you want to do something, just do it. A lot of times people say, "Oh, how'd you do that show? How'd you think of that idea? How'd you get so many people to come to your thing? I can't get nobody to come to my program." Like, I said, I don't know. I just put the show together with thought that it's going to be successful and put it on out there. And I pray all the time to God to help me with it and help me to be successful. And a miracle, like a miracle, people just start coming. I've never had a failure yet. I'm 80 some years old and I never had a failure. Some people say, "Well, I don't know how you do it. I can't seem to do it," because they don't have confidence in themselves. They don't believe in themselves. But I do. Whatever I want to do, I just do it. And I would tell anybody, because we all are special people. We all have talent. People don't know what their talent is, but it's inside. Everybody got something. I remember Hitler said he wanted the perfect race, and that meant German, white, blonde hair. That's what he thought. He gonna make the perfect race. But you never know where perfect. I wouldn't say nobody's perfect, but you never know where smart kids are gonna come from. Smart kids can come from anybody, that the parent they come out from people that don't have any kind of education. They have a little kid that's like a little genius. Well, who taught him how to do that? Who taught These children are smarter than their parents, so they're born with gifts inside of them. They come from somewhere, I don't know, but they come through you. But they're coming out there, and some of them know math. They know music. They know encyclopedias. They just so smart. You have to look at this kid. And they take some of these kids and they put them in college when they're 7 years old. They're so smart. But every kid, everybody has something to offer. Everybody. And if people, society would give each child an equal opportunity for education to expose himself, to express himself, what he knows, I think all the problems in the world would be solved, because everybody could put a little bit of piece to the puzzle. You know something, he knows something. I never thought about that. Really, that happened? Yeah, well, give people a chance, and you'd be surprised. We'd be surprised if we could come up with. You can't take a certain section of people and say that they know all the answers to everything, because they don't. They might, I got this degree. Oh yeah, I know this. Yeah, I went to this school. I went to that school. That means nothing. Somebody that never went to school and come out with something better than you. Like they say, this guy Einstein. You ever see Einstein? He looked like a crazy kook, but he was smart in mathematics. He might have been dumb in everything else, but math, he excelled in it. He excelled in it. Well, I don't know. So I just want you to think about things that your parents have taught you, and you remember them by you remembering them, you're keeping them alive and in your heart. I remember years ago, my father used to go fishing because, like I say, people didn't eat meat because we didn't have money to buy pork and beef. Are you kidding? We just had to like fat back for some greens, white potatoes, some rice. They kept us alive. But on Sunday, everybody had chicken. But my father used to go, because we lived near the Gulf of Mexico, Atlantic Ocean. So my father would go fishing. He would come back with sacks of clams, oysters, all kind of fish. And so he basically lived on seafood. I guess you could say we lived organic, as people say organic, because everybody had fresh food. It wasn't canned food. It wasn't frozen food. It wasn't no water with chlorine in it. We got water from the spring or the pump. I used to sometimes I want a cool drink of water, so I would go to the spring, and tadpoles, which are baby frogs, be swimming all around it. I would just say, get away, go away, and put my mouth down to that spring and drink a nice, cool drink of water. I never thought about one day people are going to buy water. Who ever thought about that? A teacher told me once years ago that one day people are going to buy water. I said, "Are you kidding?" Like we lived near the Gulf of Mexico and Atlantic Ocean. I said, all this water, somebody going to pay for water? But that's what happened. And in vegetables, we grew. We didn't spray it with anything. We raised our own chickens for the people to have something to eat on Sunday. But it was just a different times, and people were healthy, and they didn't even know that they were healthy. They just living the best that they could at the way that they knew they could. Most of the people were poor. As we looking back at it today, they were poor, but everybody was the same, so they didn't even know it. They didn't even know they were poor. They were poor. Okay, so thank you for watching me today, and come back again. I'm looking forward to it. Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye. Bye. I love you. Bye.